Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen monthly report summary, looking at what the devs at CIG have been working on over the last 4 weeks and what they're focused on currently for Star Citizen and the Persistent Universe, a lot of which we will see in the next few months, with the next major releases being Alpha 3.6.x, so a sort of interim patch, and then 3.7 thereafter, probably at the end of September. Let's start with NPC and character stuff. AI first reactions saw some more work. These are combat behaviors that are triggered by AI characters sensing the presence of an enemy, and is a precursor to real combat that includes specific animations, communications, and can lead the AI to investigate the source of like a suspicious noise or event. They progressed with the fire discipline AI stuff, which influences the firing behavior of gunners and pilots. The idea being that surrounding events and actions alter the behavior between the extremes of trigger happy and ammo thrifty behavior. Target selection saw 2 new elements: self-preservation, which prioritizes attacking the most dangerous enemy combatant, and defend ally, which monitors friendly ships and AI and attacks players causing the most damage. AI security behavior has also been redefined for security and interdiction missions to cover everything that could happen during a mission, of which there are many apparently that they've been working on. Work continued on bartender animations and behaviors. A new mission giver was also given some more animations and work was done there. Emotes captured at last year's CitizenCon have also seen some work. Facial animation was done for the social AI, so shopkeepers and bartenders and patrons there as well. With the bartender in mind, several new usables, mostly mixing stations, were created. Improvements were made to the drink and sort of like glass materials. Social AI had general improvements to how NPCs look when moving between usables. New vendors and NPCs are being iterated on too, with head rigging pipeline seeing updates for that, and there's pipeline improvements that will see improved character deformation as well that will be in the game in the near future. New career concepts progressed. There's also new armor that was concepted and developed, while progress has also been being made on all existing clothing compatible with the female character model. The material library was further expanded too, which will help improve the overall texture quality throughout the game. Work continued on the V2 of the character customizer. When complete, it will bring a whole new look and feel to the feature. They also worked on improvements for VoIP and VoIP, adding multi-channel comm support. Locations and environments wise, rest stop interiors are seeing work, and they've seen various additions to them. They're now working on marrying those interiors with the exteriors of space stations that they had updated in 3.6. As with all procedural location workflows, time is spent setting up the rules of the procedural generation layout and various room libraries. Players can expect the new interiors to feel larger, more open, have different room types, and more varied when they launch in Alpha 3.7. Work also continued on the Crusader Major Landing Zone Horizon, which is currently in Greybox. They finished the layout and are currently making sure components and architecture complement each other and communicate the desired art style. They've also begun working on exterior buildings for New Babbage, as well as Planet Microtech in general has been getting work. They're creating new terrains and materials to better represent snowy landscapes and frozen plains. They also developed the modular set to increase the speed at which they can build flagship landing zones in the future. They talked about a resource service that tracks the state of natural resource found on planets and moons, and that saw some updates. Planetary Tech Tools V4 is also being worked on. It can now spawn unique particles on terrain using various parameters. It can also lock particles to terrain and have them move around the surface as needed. For example, when particles are affected by gravity or wind, they now flow around the contours of terrain in a natural way. Their team also added particle LOD systems to allow them to draw cheaper versions of the effect much further away and swap them out for higher quality versions close up. This is obviously going to be very useful for dynamic weather and associated effects with that. They also resumed their work on Planet Shading V4, with focus being on adding a new artist tool that simultaneously paints a desired location along with every other location on the planet with matching environmental conditions. This provides a great compromise between handcrafted and fully procedural content creation. Work also started on the tint palette system, which will eventually allow the game code to assign shared palettes to any object in-game and recolor the materials and assign matching decals and logos. This will vastly cut down the work required to create material variants for ships, weapons, armor, props, and environments, and give the designers much greater flexibility in the array of colors and branding available across the game. In regards to ships and vehicles, the Origin 890 jump is well on its way to being put in the game with a 3.6.x patch in the near future. They are finishing off the remaining tweak and polish tasks. Once the art elements are done, it will go to pre-flight setup. The two remaining variants for the Vanguard are nearing completion as well. Look out for the Harbinger and Sentinel in Alpha 3.7. Progress on the Banu Defender continues as well. They're getting close to solidifying the Banu ship identity with dramatic lighting and a unique construction style. The exterior was the focus last month and saw them tackle the cockpit, body, wings, and landing gear. We should see a much more solid pipeline for Banu and its ships due to the delays that the Defender has seen, and hopefully we will see much better Banu stuff because of that. And when the Defender's first released, it will be much more able to straight away be the sort of like gold standard for the Banu. Significant focus was also placed on creating a unique standard for the Tavaran, which led them to reevaluate the interior of the Prowler. Progress on the exterior, however, continued into Greybox, with time going into designing the unique landing gear and bulkheads. They solved some of the technical challenges presented by the unique features on the wings, as they're also the main thrusters and landing gear. They also polished landing gear systems across the board, with a particular focus on tuning settle heights. They also improved the player's cockpit experience by working on HOTAS strafe animations. They improved various stability issues with vehicles, and bugs affecting turret scanning, mining, and various vehicles were also fixed. There is an ongoing physics system refactor, and they began adding additional functionality to vehicle scanning as well. More economy-related stuff. They've been doing work on ship balancing and pricing with that, specifically developing the capability to systemically set prices. In doing so, they analysed the stats from current ships and identified balance issues arising from early development artifacts. They're now targeting these issues and bringing all vehicles in line with the expected guidelines. They also began implementing new rental kiosks for ships that will allow players to rent vehicles and ships from certain shops in Alpha 3.6.x, the interim patch. This also saw a balance pass to make sure they have the appropriate prices and rental lengths there. Work on UI concepts, signage and posters of the interiors of upcoming locations were also done. Weapons art completed a final pass on the Gunworks Salvo frag pistol and Bearing GP33 grenade launcher, those FPS weapons. The OMC frag grenades were completed as well, and they began work on new attachments for Alpha 3.7, so we should see some stuff beyond just scopes there. They have got underbarrel, barrel, and magazine mods also planned. Development also kicked off for the grey box of the FL-33 laser cannon. Engine and background stuff. The engine team worked on support for tri-mesh splitting to optimize collisions, and intersection tests were done. They continued work on geometry and instancing and optimized the application of networked states as part of the wider physics update they're doing. They also added raycaster support for collisions on overlapping zones, recent optimizations including making vehicles go to sleep when landed, not updating physical ship entities if parts move slightly, not looping through all rigid entities during the apply state from network, part of the physics step, and introducing the first elements of box pruning. Work continued on removing the global render state along with graphic and fidelity planning, but they also continued support for server-side object container streaming with entity stability improvements. Server-side object container streaming has seen successful tests internally, and it was recently described as like night and day when it came to its application and benefit to the game. For rendering, they improved anti-flicker for TSAA. They researched atmospheric artifacts at the horizon, so they made several major improvements as well. Some issues remain and will be fixed by a slightly different approach to atmospheric rendering. This new approach will unify the atmosphere, ground fog, and eventually clouds. For the procedural planet tool, they implemented a layout generation recorder for designers that allows the visualization of collision issues in the layout of space stations and other locations. Adjustments were made to the transaction service, persistent data manager, and rental services. The first phase of diffusion router meshing was also completed and allows DevOps to manage how network traffic and server-to-service communication travels through the back end. They also finished the new Matchmaker API used by the platform teams for Spectrum. Some other bits and bobs that don't really fit anywhere else. The Xi'an language continued to be refined with a whole swathe of food terms being added to the lexicon. Foundational work for the Banu language made excellent progress as well, as more details of the race's everyday lives were fleshed out. Alpha 3.7 should see the return of music previously removed due to the rework and implementation of new audio to support specific points of interest. Information of how players in Alpha 3.6 found and used the black market locations and how the fences, the people that sell that sort of like illegal, ill-gotten gains, along with sort of common player behavior, particularly regarding the new law system, was all looked at, and they will be using that to improve gameplay in the future based on people's feedback and all the stats there. And that's it for this month's monthly report. If you've got any questions about what we talked about, please chuck it in the comments below. I'm very much looking forward to 3.7. 3.6.1 was just released, literally as I was recording this video. It doesn't have the 890 jump or ship rentals in. It's a very minor patch, but we're still waiting on that 3.6.x patch with ship rentals, 890 jump, potentially shield updates, and hopefully some other bug fixes in there as well. But whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a giveaway. For August, we are giving away a Drake Corsair bundled with an 8-inch Fire tablet and 12 months of Game Glass. Game Glass makes software allowing you to turn touchscreen devices, like tablets and mobiles, into immersive controllers for Star Citizen. But not just Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous is getting support next, and there's plans for lots more games to support this. You can use Game Glass for free, but there are paid options as well, giving you even more functionality. Please follow the links down below to get more info or to download. I'm still also shilling for NordVPN. If you're looking for a VPN, they are very cheap and have many benefits over free services. They help protect you and your privacy online, but it also makes it easier to access various websites as well. And there's Shadow 2, giving you remote access to a Windows 10 gaming PC of your very own so that you can effectively turn any appropriate device, your smartphone, a computer, a laptop, whatever, into this much more beefy machine. Subscription cloud services, in my opinion, are the way forward, and for some are going to be very appealing instead of sort of maintaining their own PC. For all of those, please follow the links below or use the code BoardGamer to get a discount. A massive thank you for watching. Please consider liking and sharing this content, as well as pressing the bell icon to get informed when a video goes live. Consider Patreon or becoming a YouTube member too if you'd like to further support the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.